All right, welcome back, guys, to the Ahsan Raza podcast. Got my favorite host today on the show, Mohsin Jaffery, who's also with Century 21 Innovative Realty. Thanks, Mohsin, for coming on.
Thank you so much, Ahsan. It's always a pleasure, bro.
You coming on, man. And today we're going to kind of keep it loose, casual, just kind of talk about some of the hot takes in real estate.
Yeah.
And we haven't really prepared for this podcast, to be honest, but it's kind of done on purpose because we just kind of wanted to shoot the breeze. And
I think that's how the best results come out.
Kind of go on the fly. Yeah. So we have prepared a little bit of a market update for the beginning. But after that, I'm going to ask you some tough questions. So
likewise.
So you better be ready to face the camera.
Let's do it.
Without further ado, I guess we want to kind of quickly just jump into a market update because we are in the middle of the year and everyone's been asking me, how's the market?
Yeah.
What's happening with the numbers? And we're seeing a very similar pattern to what we saw last year.
Yeah.
So last year around this time, we had about 36,000 sales.
Okay.
And this year we're at about 37,000 sales. So just about 1,000 sales up. The average price, interestingly enough, keeps coming down.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's been asking, is this the bottom? Is it the bottom?
Right.
I don't know. I can't tell if this is the bottom or not. Yeah. But I do feel like we're getting closer and closer. And the interesting thing is that one thing you and I always look for when we're looking at sort of, future takeaways and what's going to happen in the next 6 months is level of inventory.
Right.
One difference from last year to this year is that inventory has gone down.
Yeah.
And we're seeing less and less listings on the market.
Correct.
I know it doesn't seem like that because everywhere you go, you see open house signs and for sale signs. But, from a numbers perspective, there is less inventory. And I think if inventory continues to go down, it could add an upward pressure on price. But safely to say, I can probably say for the next 6 to 12 months, we're in a very, very good buyer's market right now.
Right. Yeah.
So what are your thoughts?
No, I think exactly the same. Inventory has gone down. Number of listings have gone down as well. I think definitely since the last podcast that we had as well, one point that we focused on is that buyers definitely have an upper hand right now.
Yeah.
It is definitely a buyer's market, whether that's for the resale market or pre-construction as well. And just based off that, with your listings and with your seller clients especially, what are their sentiments? Because it can be kind of nerve-wracking for sellers to list their homes in a buyer's market.
It's definitely nerve-wracking. I think a lot of sellers are still expecting prices from 2021, 2022. So one of our jobs is to give them a realistic price point of where the market is right now.
Mm-hmm.
The market isn't at its peak. And there has been a 10 to 20% correction in some markets, even 30, 40%, to be honest.
Wow.
And I think what I'm seeing right now is one of the reasons why sales has been down is not because there aren't buyers out there. Like there are buyers, like you and I are showing buyers on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
But there's a gap in between what the buyers are offering and what the sellers want. To bridge that gap, it takes a lot of hours and sometimes days, even weeks. And what ends up happening is that the buyer and seller, they don't agree on a price because that gap is so big.
Yeah.
So the sale or the transaction never ends up happening. And so you're not seeing those sales.
And that's what's kind of translating into lower sales number as well, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So if you look at it from a statistic level, I mean, you look at the showings we've had on my listings, I mean, showings are up from last year.
100%.
But again, it's like, the low balls. And so when sellers see the low balls, they're like, what's going on? And you have to kind of educate them on that.
Exactly. It's the low balls and buyers taking their sweet time, right? With the buyers having the upper hand right now, what comes with that sometimes is buyers thinking that they have all the time and they can take months on months to kind of make their decision. But I think that's super relative to the market that they're looking to buy in as well, right? Mississauga is probably more of a hotter market than somewhere like Kitchener, and we see that both on the buying selling side and also on the leasing side as well.
Kitchener, man, it's really bad. I mean, you and I have had experience. I was doing an evaluation for a client of mine. And he bought a condo for I think $550. And the latest evaluation came up to about $250.
That's
a big
insane.
drop. That's a big drop.
Very big
but like, why is there a difference in that market compared to like the rest of GTA or other parts? Like, what's happening? You're in the West End, so
So I think especially in Kitchener, in the last I would say 3 to 4 years, there's been an influx of new construction condos. and maybe not enough freehold homes that we were looking for in the Kitchener, Waterloo area. And because of that, I think it's impacting the rental market directly. Yeah. I mean, the listing that you and I had together in Kitchener was on the market for about 3 months, right? And we were struggling to find a tenant because there's just so many options in that same building. I think that time that we had that listing, and thank God we were able to lease that out. But there were 30 other similar units priced lower than us in that market. And we had to kind of revise the price for that as well. So it's been an influx of, that pre-construction market in Kitchener. And now, unfortunately, as you said, a lot of people are either not meeting their appraisals. There's a lot of bank foreclosures because, there's a big gap between the appraisal right now and what they purchased at before. And then that ultimately, is being purchased by investors. They want to rent that out. So.
Yeah. And we're not trying to be all doom and gloom right now because, there are market cycles. We're obviously in a tough market cycle right now. But on the flip side, as bad as it is for sellers, it's amazing for some buyers.
Correct.
Right? So I know in the pre-construction atmosphere environment that you're working with a lot, what are you seeing now, especially with this new HST rebate coming in, and has that made a difference in number of sales? And
100%.
You and I can both talk about some stories that we've had with that.
For sure. Yeah, no, I think that's a good question. Just a recent stat that I saw yesterday that I wanted to share that I think is important to look at. So with the new home sales in Q2 of 2026, we saw about 130% increase in just new home sales since last year. So Q2 of 2025 was about 3,645 new home sales, and Q2 of 2026 is just north of 8,000. And they're saying that approximately 60 to 70% of those sales are impacted or are being motivated by the HST rebate, right? And I think that's been something so important for buyers to look at and for them to take advantage of as well. And the reason being is because the government has also created a lot of urgency for this as well. This HST rebate is only valid until March of next year. So people want to make sure that they're exploring their options going into the market and taking advantage of this HST rebate. And I think there's so many options, right? With either pre-construction homes that are closing in the next couple of years or even builder inventory. And maybe we can touch on that later because I feel like builder inventory is really slept on, and people that have the capability to close within the next 60 to 90 days, they should really be looking into builder inventory.
So historically, we've always seen new builds with a longer closing date. You're saying now we're seeing new builds that are 60 to 90 days closing. Where are these properties located? What are some good deals in the GTA or even outside the GTA? And what are you seeing in pricing? Can you give us some examples?
I mean, I can give you a personal example on this right now. So with one of my clients, we were able to secure a new construction home for them, and that was builder inventory. So our search started about 3 to 4 months ago. And within the first 2 months, we were looking at resale homes, right? And they're first-time home buyers as well. We ended up stumbling across a project in Cambridge, which was a new construction project, a phase that started about 2 years ago, and now they have leftover, inventory to sell and to get rid of. So we saw the project. They're like, yeah, it's okay. And then we started looking at resale options again. And then a few weeks later, we ended up finalizing on one of the builder inventory units. It was a freehold townhouse, 3-bedroom, 3-bath in Cambridge. It was originally priced at $650,000, but because it's builder inventory, with the discounts that builder was able to provide for us, along with the HST rebate, now on the statement of adjustment, we're seeing that price in the high 500s for a freehold townhouse. So this is just a really practical example of so many amazing options that are in the market right now. Cambridge is good. I think, especially because I'm working a lot in the West End, I think a lot of places that are good to look at are Brantford right now. So Empire Homes that we were working on some time ago as well. They just launched a brand new 2-story freehold townhouse phase. And that was really anticipated. A lot of people are waiting for that. And they're providing a $48,000 credit on closing. They're giving cap development charges. And on top of that, you can get a brand new freehold townhouse that's closing next year in the low to mid 600s with the rebate. I think Cachet Homes as well is building townhouse in Brantford in the high 500s. and then especially in Milton, Oakville area, Mattamy doing some amazing work over there with their freehold homes, and then Rosehaven Homes. Like really good finishes. I've been inside a lot of Rosehaven homes. They're a top-notch builder. So these areas are good to.
We used to see pricing for pre-construction always at a premium when it came to resale, like 100,000, 200,000, some, and plus the closing costs, right?
Yeah.
Now it's like what you and I are seeing is that the prices are actually almost the same, if not better.
If not
on
better,
some of the pre-cons, right?
Exactly.
And a lot of times I find is that the pre-construction deals, people don't know about them.
Yeah.
Right? Some of the builders do a great job of marketing them, but there's a lot of good deals that people don't know about. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where kind of you and I could come in and educate, the buyers who are looking out there right now, especially first-time home buyers.
100%.
There's actually a lot of good opportunities. So I had a client who we bought a property, a condo townhome in Richmond Hill. Nice. Again, brand new, 60-day closing, and in an amazing location in Richmond Hill, like prime Richmond Hill area. Yeah. And the property itself was originally for $700,000. We got it for $630 because of the HST rebate. Crazy. Now with the HST rebate, he didn't get it right away because that builder had asked us to file for it, but we got in touch with our accountant, and now he's working. So he's going to get a good check.
You can do that through the CRA, and you'll eventually get that rebate.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you need someone who needs an accountant or a professional to apply for the rebate, you can always contact us, and we have some great resources.
We're always the best middlemen to get you the best contacts for any work that needs to be done.
I'm going to ask you a tough question now. Okay, Mohsin? No. This is now we're done with all the formalities, but let me ask you: given the market that we're in, and given that we are realtors, is this a good time to buy?
Is this a good time to buy? Oh man, the $1 million question, right?
How do you balance that question, knowing that we're in the business to sell homes? Yeah. And when someone asks that question, how do you answer that?
Yeah, I think it's a very relative question. Yeah. It's very subjective on someone's circumstances. Yeah. For first-time home buyers, for example, I just had a call with a referral that I got 2 days ago, and she was asking me, is it a good time to buy? So I'm like, let me pose that question on you. Yeah. So we started by asking, how much down payment do you have saved right now? How much do you have saved for closing costs? How much are you able to sustain a property for every single month? Yeah. And she qualified for everything for a first-time home buyer to be able to afford a home right now. Yeah. So I think that question is really subjective based on the person's circumstances, but especially given the market that we're in right now, it's a buyer's market. Yeah. You have builder inventory, HST rebate that was only for first-time home buyers is now applicable for every single buyer. Yeah. So for me, if you have the down payment, if you have the capital to sustain a new home or to move into a new home, I think it's a great time to buy. Yeah. What are you giving a response to your clients when they ask this question?
It's similar. So what I always add to that to my clients is, again, it's always situational. But I think when a client asks you that question, what they're really asking is, am I buying at the right time given that the prices could go down even more? Yeah. Right? And that's kind of what they're really asking. Like, what if I buy now and the prices go down by 10%? Yeah. And you and I both know, like, being in the business, honesty is key. And we see a lot of people, unfortunately, in our industry always giving advice that's not in the best interest of the client, but in the best interest of the realtor. Yeah. And that's where I kind of feel like we try to differentiate ourselves, because it's more important for you and I to give our client the honest opinion than try to make a commission check.
Exactly.
And so the first thing you do is we look at the client situation. Can they even afford to buy?
Exactly.
Number two is, if it's a good time to buy, it will depend on your current circumstances. So if, let's say, you have the down payment, you have the income, and you are able to afford easily a home, and you're living in a rental that's small, you've got 3 kids, and you've been living in there for 3-4 years, and you need space because your kids are growing. Yeah. Ask yourself the question, is it worth for me to keep timing the market until prices hit rock bottom, then get in the market and have my family in a smaller space? Or do I just take that leap of faith and get something? Yeah. My family will have all the space they need, knowing that prices will go down or may go down 10%. That's a possibility. Yeah. Right? And I tell them, look, there's a real possibility that if you buy now, home prices may go down another 5 or 10%. But look at it from a different perspective. You're waiting for the best time to buy, but while in that waiting period, you're also paying rent every single month, and that's basically putting you out of pocket by $30,000.
Yeah.
And so that $30,000 rent that you paid versus the $30,000 loss that you had in depreciation, what is better for you? And if you feel that renting is better, there's no right or wrong answer.
Correct.
I personally feel that as a family of 5 that I have, if I need more space, I'm going to look for the right deal, but I'm also going to go in knowing that there's a possibility that the prices may come down or may go up, but I want to make my family happy. Now, if I don't have the money, that's a different story. But if I'm living in a cramped 1-bedroom apartment with 3 kids and I know I can buy,
exactly,
why put my family through that trouble, right?
100%.
So that's 100%. Kind of where the disconnect is, I feel.
Yeah.
And I feel that people need to realize it's not always about the money.
Yeah.
It's about your circumstances, your family, your family's happiness. And I've seen so many families, unfortunately, man, get the husband telling me, we're not going to buy it because things are too expensive. The wife calls me separately, like, I wish we were buying, I don't know what my husband's talking about. Yeah. It's too small for us.
Yeah.
And so this conflict happens in houses, right?
Yeah.
And it leads to bigger things. So it's situational. Sorry for rambling, but this is kind of nitty gritty, right? Where people need to understand that it's not always about where the price are going to go up or down. It's about, my family, where can I go? Do I need to expand the housing? Do I need to get into a bigger place?
Yeah, it's about your comfort, your lifestyle, right? All these things really matter in that home buying experience.
Exactly. Now, on the seller side, people ask me all the time, is it a good time to sell, right? Yeah. That's another question we get. Yeah. So I'll answer first and I'll let you answer. Yeah. When someone asks me, is it a good time to sell? Now, you hear people online who hate realtors, they'll be like, oh, realtors will tell you it's always a good time to sell. It's always a good time to buy. Well, you know what? There's some truth in that. And I'll tell you why. It's because, again, selling matters on your situation.
Correct.
So if you're losing money and bleeding money and you want to stop that bleeding, yes, it's a good time to sell.
Yeah.
Right? But if you have your mortgage paid off and you're not losing any money, and you want to sell, well, it's not a good time to sell. I would advise you not to sell.
And you're comfortable in the house, right?
Yeah, why would you, right? And if you have an investment property, it's also different. So I had a client of mine who recently asked me, is it a good time to sell? And I asked him, I said, okay, what's your mortgage in the property? He said, I don't have a mortgage. And I said, okay, I'll do an evaluation for you. Right now, your property is worth $515,000. In the peak, it was worth about $750,000. I feel that if you sell now, you will probably regret it because the market may come back in 5-7 years. So it's not a good time to sell. Now, he came back and he said, look, I just want to sell it because I just want this money and I want to go and do something else with it. So for him, it was a good time to sell. My job is not always to predict where the market is going to go. My job is also to help facilitate the sale of a transaction.
Correct.
That's where you and I, people kind of get this mistake that, realtors will have to predict the market.
We have to have a crystal ball that we pull out of our pockets.
A lot of our job actually is not predicting the market. It's actually helping facilitate the buyer or seller in their transaction. So if a seller needs to sell because he's going through financial difficulties, our job is not to go and tell him, hey, don't sell because you know what, the price is going to go up. Yet the guy's bleeding $30K a year.
Exactly.
Our job is to go in there and help him get out of that, transition and actually, feel less stressed now. So that's our job as well.
I think you nailed it, man. That's very good advice. Yet again, it's very subjective on the person's situation, right?
Yeah.
Like in a practical example, when we had that listing in Hamilton, in downtown Hamilton, that seller, unfortunately, he was an investor and he bought it during the peak of the market for it's a good property. It has a lot of value, good potential. It's a duplex, right?
Yeah.
He was renting it out before as well. Yeah. But unfortunately, he bought it at the peak and he was just bleeding out money, right? Yeah. So at that point, he wasn't willing to adjust his price. Yeah. But after he saw that this property was sitting on the market for more than 3 months, regardless of us marketing and talking to whoever we know about this property, was still sitting on the market.
Yeah, it's
exactly. And after we reduced the price quite significantly, we were able to sell it. Yeah. And, he was happy at the end of the day because he's like, it's stress that's off my shoulders now.
100%.
The buyers obviously benefited because we were able to represent the buyers as well. They benefited because they got a really good price in that market. But as you say, right, it's really subjective on your circumstances.
It's so subjective, man.
Yeah, you can't answer that question objectively. Is it a good time to buy or sell?
Yeah. And I guess for the audience to understand that there are good realtors out there that will give you honest opinions. Not everyone cares about their commission. In fact, most realtors will give you the honest opinion, but we only hear about the ones that are online. And segueing into online, a lot of influencers out there, you've probably seen them online, and I have as well.
Yeah.
Always predicting doom and gloom in the market.
Yeah, 100%.
When you see those reels, what do you say?
You know what, man? Honestly, everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
Everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
And what you see, especially on social media, is always going to be that negative take and that negative opinion. Why? Because negativity gathers more attention, right? Yeah. It gathers more clout, as Gen Z says, probably, right? So talk to an expert, right? Talk to someone who's really working in your favor and, has been working in the industry on a full-time basis and definitely has seen many markets, like someone like you. Talk to them, get a good understanding. Don't just, base your judgment and your information solely on social media.
Yeah. No, I find it really funny and hilarious. You hear all these people online who sometimes aren't even real estate agents or experts in the housing market, and they're constantly creating this negative mindset. And this is something that everyone needs to hear, is that there are opinions, both good and bad, but one thing that we have to sort of look through the video that we see is that opinion or that hot take that person is doing, is that really for our best interests, or is that person doing that to get views?
Exactly.
Right? Whenever I see a thumbnail and I see a red arrow going down, with the person's face like this, I'm like, okay, that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
And that to me just tells me that this person is just doing it for views.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, if that's their opinion, that's totally fine. But you can kind of tell when you watch the video which sort of direction they're going into.
Yeah.
And so when you see a reel like that, or you see a thumbnail that's so negative, you have to decipher and ask yourself, two questions. Number one is, I'm going to watch this video, but I'm going to be very objective about it, right? And number two, it's okay for me to agree or disagree with this opinion.
Correct.
Right? And so you can we see our videos, you don't have to agree with everything we say. It's okay.
Yeah.
You can disagree with it as well. Everyone there's no right or wrong answer here.
Yeah.
But I think what we need to do, or what the audience is to understand, is that when you see videos online promoting two different extremes, at that point you got to stop and ask yourself, maybe this person's opinion is not valid because he's doing it for his best interest and for him to get views. For example, you'll have people saying the market's going to crash, and that same thumbnail. When I see that, I'm like, hold on. I don't have to fall or agree with this guy totally. On the flip side, you'll see other realtors, people saying, oh, it's a great time to buy. Another extreme, right?
Another extreme.
Those two extremes, you got to watch out. You got to find something that's kind of in the middle.
Yep.
And there's experts out there that won't have the flashy thumbnails or the flashy videos, but those are the real experts.
Exactly.
Right? Those are the guys you got to consult with.
Yeah.
Don't get so caught up on what you see on social media.
Because they're on the field every single day, right? They're not just basing their opinion off statistics.
100%.
They're talking to real people. They're talking to real buyers, real sellers, real homeowners, and they're basing their opinions based off that.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And the most funniest thing is when I go to family friend's house and stuff like that, they know I'm in real estate, and they're like, "Oh, beta, the market is terrible. Yeah. We're all doomed. Like this." And they're expecting negative answer from me as well. I'm like, it might be in some areas, it might be in some markets, but business has actually been really good in terms of sales and transactions and referrals and new clients. Business has been good. I was telling my friend the other day, I actually love this market. This market is providing so many opportunities. More than 80% of my clients were first-time home buyers this year. And I think that's great, right? People are coming out of their comfort zone, and people are actually looking at the amazing opportunities in this market.
Exactly. It's definitely a much more calmer market. And for me, and yes, it has been slower, but honestly, it's also a chance for us to rest, recalibrate, and also market more towards 100%. Our database and our audience, 100%. Right?
Yeah. It's not about the number of sales. It's about the number of people that you talk to, as you always tell me.
We've got about 5 months left in the year. What are you telling your clients right now who's looking to buy or sell this year? Like, what is your sort of go-to information to them about the market when they approach you on whether to buy or sell?
Yeah, I mean, for buyers right now, especially, I'm telling them yet again, if they have and they're motivated to buy within this year, especially, and I've had buyers like this, then if the resale market is not providing you good options, man, definitely look into builder inventory. I think there's so much. It's like a gold mine over there. There's a lot of hidden opportunities that a lot of people don't know about. Sometimes you might just have to relocate slightly outside the GTA or maybe a bit further out in the GTA. But hey, if the prices are making sense and the government is giving you money and giving you rebate, take advantage of that. Take advantage where the market is telling you to take an advantage for right now. And then yet again, for sellers, if it's not an emergency for you to sell, if you're able to sustain that property, right? Both in terms of lifestyle, both in terms of financially, hold on to that property maybe until the beginning of 2027, where some analysts are saying we might see a bit of a change, a bit of an increase in prices. But yet again, time will tell.
Last question, what's your take on the condo market right now? Because from afar, from what I see is the condo market and the prices keep spiraling downwards, and I feel that there's going to be some more room for depreciation, but asking a buyer, if they ask you if it's a good time to buy a condo, like what are you looking for them and what are you telling them before they buy something? I
think the condo market, the stats are telling us themselves that the condo market is not performing too well right now. The numbers are going downwards, but I think as an investment, it doesn't make too much sense right now. There's too much uncertainty. Right? Maybe a new construction freehold home, like a townhouse, might make a bit more sense for an investment. Condo market, I wouldn't suggest it as an investment right now, unless you're able to hold it for the long term. But yet again, for first-time home buyers, that I always compare home ownership to like a ladder. You start from the bottom and you keep making your way up. So condos do make a good option right now for a lot of first-time home buyers because they're getting them super cheap. My client just closed on a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. 1 parking, 1 locker, $0 development charges. After the rebate, she got that for I think like $502,000.
Where was this?
This is in Mattamy Homes in Milton.
That's really
Mattamy Homes in Milton, the Myling Creek project. Yet again, builder inventory. This was builder inventory, and she was able to close within a couple months. And prices have reduced a bit more now too, where you can find 1+ dens after the rebate selling for about $411,000. So if you're a first-time home buyer and you're able to sustain that property for the next, let's say 5 to 7 years, I think we might see a bit of appreciation, hopefully, by that time, right?
And like you said, and I made a video about this as well, is it a good time to buy a condo? And said the exact same thing, that from an investment standpoint, you might want to wait until you find like a steal of a deal, because prices will still come down, in my opinion.
100%.
But as a primary living area, I mean, I think if you can't afford to buy a freehold, which is almost $1 million in Toronto right now, you can get a condo for half the price, like you said, like $500,000, a 2-bedroom, or even a 2+1 with a parking spot and a locker. And people are always afraid, like the condo prices will go down if I buy it and the maintenance fees are too high. But then if you're just starting out as a first-time home buyer, then it's similar to renting, right? Like you can find something that's going to you'll be able to live in it. It'll be spacious.
And actually, a funny story, very interestingly, that same client that just closed on that unit in Milton, I was asking her yesterday how much it's costing her to sustain that property on a monthly basis with her mortgage, with her insurance, property tax, and everything. It's costing her about $2,300.
Wow.
And in Milton, to rent a 2-bedroom apartment, it can cost you anywhere from $2,200 all the way to $2,500. Wow. So I think it's definitely a steal of a deal, and it's cheaper than resale value right now.
It is,
in that market.
So I think the prices have come down enough where it's a good time to consider buying 100%. A condo for living in it, especially, 100%. Right?
And the best question to ask every single buyer is, make a differentiation between buying that property with a one-time cost versus sustaining that property. So what we like always doing with clients is that we run them by the one-time cost of what it takes to buy a home, and then we make a simple pitch deck, a pro forma, or run them by some numbers as to how much it would cost approximately to sustain that property on a monthly basis.
Exactly. Yeah, I just feel like people need to kind of get out of their comfort zone and start thinking about these things, and don't get so scared about what they're hearing online.
Exactly.
Right. Like I said, my dad always told me, like, if it's your primary property, don't stress out too much about where the values are going to be, because you're going to be living in it. Right.
Correct.
That's your household expense.
Correct.
But it's something that is hard to switch over to, but that's where I think we can educate our clients.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was great, man. I'm gonna definitely.
Don't be scared. Literally.
Don't be scared, man.
More than 80% of our clients were first-time home buyers this year. They were nervous at one point, but they made the move.
And if you need to wait, that's fine too. But like we said, if you've got the capacity and the financial capacity, then waiting can also do you harm.
Correct.
Right? So it's my honest opinion. But Mohsin, I want to ask you a couple of rapid-fire questions.
Let's do it.
Who's your GOAT NBA player?
I got Allen Iverson, AI.
Oh wow,
100%.
that's a different take.
AI before artificial intelligence was there. Yeah,
Is it real AI?
AI, man. AI, I think. Legacy.
Yeah.
Handles everything. Yeah, he's my GOAT.
Yeah, influence, just overall, like
man, just
the shoes,
the way he started
style.
dressing in the NBA, and everything about his handles were just it was art.
Yeah. And what do you think about, not sure if you follow the NBA, but LeBron going to the Sixers?
Listen, man,
is he a ring chaser, or is he just?
You know what? He's at the end of his career. He probably wants to have an impactful ending.
Yeah.
Let the man do his thing.
Same here, man. I used to be really angry, like, oh, this guy's like, ring chaser. We were talking about earlier, right? It's like you get into like heated arguments with your friends, and like, we're 40-year-olds now. Like, well, I am, and I'm arguing about who's the greatest of all time, and then we get upset about it.
Yeah.
I'll do what you want. At the end of the day, like, okay, call LeBron a ring chaser, but if he came to Toronto and we had a good team,
you're telling me people would not bandwagon on that?
Yeah, I'd be like, we would. I'm okay with it. Just come play, right? 100%. So I don't care. Like if
it'll make our team more impactful.
If I was in Miami and I was a Miami Heat, fan, and LeBron came, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm cool with this.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I'm not there. I'm looking from an outside perspective, but
exactly,
it is what it is, man. Thank you, Mohsin, for coming on.
Thank you, Ahsan. I appreciate it, brother.
It's always a pleasure having you on, and whenever you're on, it's always great feedback, because people love your takes as well, especially on the pre-con side. I know you do pre-con and resale as well.
Yeah.
But if you ever want any information on projects, what's happening, I mean, this guy, he knows everything. So
he's a GOAT, man. He's just being humble. He's a GOAT.
No, thank you guys. See you in the next episode.